We all have bad days, but especially if you play the game of chess. Today, I was live streaming, and I had probably one of the worst losing streaks I have ever had in my life. And I wanted to show you what is probably the worst game I had in that streak, and probably one of the worst games of chess I've ever played. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the absolute madness that was one of my worst chess games in recent time. So I started off this game with d4, followed by e5, which is the England Gambit, which I thought was a great opening for this kind of game because the England Gambit, in my opinion, is very bad. I just took the pawn. He plays knight c6, followed by knight f3. Here he plays d6. I played bishop f4, which is not the best move. Okay, according to the engine, the best move is bishop g5, but I don't think there's a huge difference. He then follows it up by playing bishop to g4, normal development. I went takes, and then he played this move queen to f6, which hits this bishop, and it also hits the pawn on b2. So here I kind of panic. I'm like, oh no, I'm probably going to lose one of these pieces unless I undevelop. I'm just going to play e3 and allow him to take. He does. So after that, I played knight to d2. Opponent castles. So here, I could have played many things. I could have played rook to b1, and that move just makes total sense. I mean, you're hitting the queen, and you're also putting the pressure on b7. I have no idea why I didn't play this move. The move I played here, it makes a little bit of sense, but once you actually think about it, it makes no sense. The move I played here was knight to c4. Now it's -2. It goes from plus 3 to -2 in one move, which makes no sense. I mean, I can't believe I'm looking at my own game here. I mean, just rook to b1. Like, come on, it's just rook to b1. And if you'll notice here, he has this tactic of going queen c3 check, and I can't block with the knight because then he'll take my queen. If I block with the queen, he takes my rook. So queen c3 check is just devastating here. But the opponent completely misses it and instead plays queen to b4 check. Wow. Goes from -2 right back up to +1. Isn't that insane? And then it goes from +1 all the way down to -0.3. I have no idea what I was thinking here. You see, the reason I played this move was because I thought the queen was attacking the knight. I literally didn't realize in the game that my bishop on f1 was holding the knight on c4. Like, what was I thinking? I'm pretty sure here the move is queen to d2. Yeah, queen to d2, and you're just chilling here if you play queen to d2. But no, silly me. I played knight to d2 for God knows what reason. Anyways, he then takes my pawn. I took back. And here, the move is just bishop to d3. And the reason it's bishop to d3 is because we have all this pressure, and bishop to d3 just kind of says no to the rook. You're not getting in. And then I'm getting ready to castle, and it just hits a lot of birds with one stone. Instead of that, I played bishop to e2, which, it develops a bishop. It removes this pin. The only problem is I still have this. And this is a big problem because this is preventing me from really safely castling here. He can take here and I take here, and then I just can't castle. And he does. He does. Now castling is just not a very good idea. So I recaptured with the bishop, which, again, you'll see the evaluation bar drop. The reason for that is because I was supposed to take with the pawn so that I still have bishop to d3. This bishop to d3 move is still what's supposed to be played. However, I was completely oblivious to that. Like, I did know that I couldn't castle here without losing a piece. But at the same time, I was just completely oblivious the entire time that my bishop could go to d3. And then I'd be a lot safer. It just completely went over my head. I don't know what was wrong with me this game. But bam, we get knight to e5, a decent enough move. I then played bishop to e3. Then he plays knight to c4. And then I give this check. Now, this check makes very little sense. Because the thing about this check is that by giving this check, you're basically guaranteeing that he's going to take this knight. Because it only has 1-2 defenders, and you're taking away one of the defenders. The reason I was basically giving this check was because I was desperate. I knew I needed to play something forcing in order to not lose. So the best move here for black is to just go king to d8. And the reason you go king to d8 here instead of the move he played in the game, which was king to b8, is because if you play king to b8, then after queen takes on g7, there's a threat of checkmate that you're going to have to deal with. But if you play king to d8, this is not a checkmate. So after you take the knight, you can just come in and start destroying things. But I digress. He plays king to b8, and here the best move is just to take on g7, threatening checkmate, and pray that this is not going to lead to anything too bad. But what did I do in this position? I castled. Like an absolute pansy. This move is pretty horrible for a lot of reasons. You know, he can take my knight with a bunch of different pieces, which I was very aware of. I was just like, maybe we can get some counterplay. We got rook to b1, which I was basically considering throughout the whole thing, but I was also like kind of thinking about defense, but like not in the right way. Like this just goes to show how horrible this game was. Like I was like my brain was just turned off. But anyways, the game continues. He plays knight to f6. I took his pawn, and then he plays rook to d8, and now I'm the one with the advantage, which is just fascinating here. Now the reason I'm the one with the advantage is because there's just knight takes on c4, and then, you know, you play a move like that and you're chilling. You're fine. Instead of that, I played rook to b1. Now the advantage goes down a bit, but nothing too major. Now we're completely winning again. We're down a piece, but we're completely winning because we have all this pressure. He then plays rook there, defending. I give a check, and now he's winning again. Why? Why was this move better? I played queen to e7, and I'm not even sure why, but for some reason the engine says that queen to f7 is better. Wait, why is that? I'm not really sure why this is winning and queen here is not. I really don't know. It's a mystery, honestly. It's a mystery. But anyways, we played king to e7. He plays queen to a5. And we then played probably the worst move I've ever played in my life, which is rook to b1, blundering mate in 2. A very obvious back rank mate in 2. And here, with mate in 2 on the board, my opponent plays the beautiful move knight to d7, blundering a mate of his own after rook to b8, because then knight takes on b8, bishop to b7. But if you'll notice here, he has the crown next to his king, because I lost on time. Yeah,